out of nonsense, and welcome to tonight's live stream. If you are joining me from YouTube, please say what's up. If you're joining me from Facebook, say what's up. But first things first, let me know that you can hear me, and then we're going to go ahead and get started, okay? Because we got a lot to talk about. Now, I logged on a couple minutes early because I want to hit the road running because by the end of this show, oh man, I found a clip that I'm mad that I didn't know about. I think this is back when Creepy Sleepy was installed. And some people did some wonderful investigative work that revealed who's really behind the insurrection that they're trying to get Trump for. A whole bunch of folks. Boy, this is going to be a real telling video towards the end. So I want to get into tonight's stuff because we do want to peel back the layers of corruption and what they're trying to do to the former president and how they're trying to cover up for the current raggedy one. Now, if you are here for the first time, hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, all those other good joints. Feel free to participate in the super chat. If you want to donate to my channel outside of the super chat, Cash App, PayPal, all that good stuff as well. Make sure you still subscribe. Make sure your notifications are set to all, and make sure that if you're not getting notifications, let me know. And I will give you a number at the end of the show. I keep forgetting every time to put the number in the front. It's in the back of my slideshow. So I'll give you that if you want to stay in contact with me, just in case they disappear me. I mean, what would y'all do if y'all didn't know whatever happened to Kev from Kevin's Corner? Just know this, though. I'm not suicidal. Anyway, with that being said, let me get loose because I'm about to crack some skulls tonight. Dang on it. I feel like that teacher, dang on that principal, vice principal, whatever, on the Breakfast Club, where he came in there and he said, listen, if I have to come in here again, I'm cracking skulls. Okay? If I have to get online and do, thank you so much, Don. Don put the number right there. It's 81877-931-2396. That is 1-877-931-2396. Thank you, Don. And that number, if you text the word join to that number, you will be able to receive text messages outside of YouTube from me personally telling y'all that I've uploaded something. Okay, now, that's right. Yeah, so I'm about to crack some skulls, so let's get into it. I got to get loose before I crack some skulls, though. You know what I'm saying? What? Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Just some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Gorillas in here. Gorilla in here. Now, guys, y'all already know that some craziness is going on. And I'm going to attempt to do something. See, I want to challenge anybody who is watching my channel, whether you're conservative, whether you are liberal, I don't care what you are. If you're an American, this right here will separate you in two categories. See, we're going to separate people in the honest and smart category versus the dishonest and dumb category. Now, what am I saying? President Trump has been indicted 3 times already. Then they're looking at trying to get him for a 4th indictment and then possibly a 5th. What are the chances of that? Is that normal? Do you really think that their motive is to go after Trump with all these random indictments because they're real indictments and these are real laws that were broken or something like that? Or if you're being honest, even if you don't like Trump, and this is what I mean, separate the honest and the smart versus the dishonest and dumb. A honest person would have to concede and say, yeah, that does look a little over the top. They've been trying since day one, back to back to back. Nobody's that evil. Maybe, Hillary Clinton, I'm not sure. And you got Joe Biden. There's some evil folks. But they have to concoction a whole bunch of stuff. Now, you telling me they've been shooting and missing at Trump the whole time. I'm talking about just indictments. We're not talking about the past investigations, Russia collusion. Then there was the phone call in Ukraine. Then there was the bootleg. He's getting impeached because I guess he sent a mental signal to all of his supporters to go and invade the Capitol. All of these things that just keep coming up one after another after another. Now they're down to indictments over stupid stuff that has some of it's already been litigated through all of the other crap that they went after him for. So you would have to be honest and say, man, yeah, maybe I don't like the guy, but they're going after him because they're trying to stop him. That's if you're honest. If you're smart, you're able to see it. See, if you're smart, you're going, these folks are abusing their power. That's what they're doing. So whether I like Trump or not, I got a gut feeling I need to go ahead and support the person who's getting abused by these people. Now, if you're dishonest, you will sit back and say, nah, they ain't going after Trump because of all of them hating him and stuff. They're going after Trump because he is actually corrupt and did all that stuff. That's if you're dishonest. If you're dishonest, then you're going to sit back and say, what you're trying to suggest, Kev, is not true. I ain't feeling it, whatever. Even if deep down on the inside, you go, yeah, that's not normal. That's not normal. And if you're dumb, then you really believe that it's normal. If you're dumb, you're in that category of Trump sucks and he deserves to be put in jail for all the things he's done and all the rules he's broken and all the laws. And you go, well, which ones? You know what? You're a fascist. See, so you're going to be in one of two of those categories, honest and smart or dumb and dishonest. Anyway, with that being said, let's hear from should be the current real president, Donald Trump, and see how he feels about this. Burns me up.
You have all of these never-ending attacks. Yeah. And you released on Truth Social earlier today that you are a target of this January 6th grand jury. My first question to you is, it doesn't seem to bother you like I think it would bother so many other people. What is it about you that it doesn't?
No, it bothers me. It bothers me for everybody in this incredible sold-out audience, and it bothers you. I got the letter on Sunday night. Think of it. I don't think they've ever sent a letter on Sunday night. And they're in a rush because they want to interfere. It's interference with the election. It's election interference. Never been done like this in the history of our country, and it's a disgrace. What's happening to...
It is a disgrace. And it's as tough as President Trump is. Boy, I tell you, he needs prayers and he needs support. They are just picking, doing anything they can. They are on him like coyotes and dang on, what do you call those things? Hyenas. It's one of those things where you can't really beat him. You can't beat the lion, but you just keep nabbing at him. You just keep biting him on the back. You just keep doing stuff like that. And every time you turn to get one of you, the other one bites you on the back. That's what they're doing. They're trying to break him down mentally, emotionally, probably physically. Do you understand the weight that this man is carrying around on his shoulders? He could have easily taken the easy route and went somewhere and sat down and let these globalists take us right on into either World War III, right on into a one world government. He could have easily done that. But instead, he gets out there, he attacks the establishment. He stands up to China. He makes sure Russia's in check, North Korea's in check, Iran's in check. Then he also made sure the G7 was in check. All of those globalists that flirt around and hang around all the Democrats and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and all of them like George of the Jungle with that crazy eye of his. All of those folks that's rubbing elbows with the current administration and probably some of our rhinos as well. Trump defied all of them because they don't have America's best interest at heart. And this man decided, I'm going to do it. And guess what? All of a sudden, he became public enemy number one out of nowhere. Same people who loved him before he ran against the Democrats. The same people who was going, you should run for president. The same people who were, come on my show. Same people who were like, I get Trump type money, baby. All those people. You telling me none of them folks picked up on all of these, corrupt, built-in characteristics of Trump, all this racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, and all of that mess? Hanging around him all those years. It's funny how these Democrats, they must not have a radar at all. They must not be able to read people at all. So the guy who they claim is the most evil man on the planet, they hung around for years, wanting his money, inviting him to all the parties, but all of a sudden, they overlooked all of this hidden racism and stuff. But guess what they also couldn't see? Harvey Weinstein and Epstein and all of them. They were hanging around those people too. And for some reason, couldn't see the other side of those people. You know what side I'm talking about. Couldn't see it. So they're horrible when it comes down to judge of character, see? So with that being said, I know Trump has to lay down at night and say, I could just take the easy route. I could just say, man, you know what? This ain't worth it. I mean, they're messing with my money. I mean, I got to hire lawyers. I got to do all of this. And this is what he starts off with. He says, I feel bad for the people in here. So he gets my vote regardless. He feels bad because he sees that not only is he being attacked, but we also are being undermined. Our civil liberties, our freedoms, our rights, our ability to choose who we want as a leader is being undermined. And we don't feel like we have a voice or somebody who's really out there that's going to go at these people the way they need to be attacked. Because, you know, if we get another soft-core Republican in office, whether a Republican wins or not, if that Republican is obedient, then we're still in trouble. They're not going to do the right thing to stop this mess. It's already been unleashed. It's left the gates, man. That horse then came out the gates, and we see it. We are now hip to what these people have done, is doing, and want to do. So now they know that we're aware of it. We now have popped up on their radar. They know we're not going away. They know we're not going to just tap out. They know we're not going to just say, oh, well, I guess this is the way life is. They know that they've opened up a can of worms that they want to close, but they can't do it if they know they got a president like this, that if he gets into office, he unravels all of that garbage. They know. So now they're doing everything to go after this dude, man. And I know it got to be a heavy, 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 heavy load on his shoulders.
To our country, whether it's the borders or the elections or kinds of things like this, where the DOJ has become a weapon for the Democrats, an absolute weapon. And it seems that every time my polls, you know, we're leading by a lot. And we're leading by a lot in a place called Iowa, a lot. Not only with the Republicans, but we're leading against Biden by a tremendous amount. They haven't seen anything like it. And
now, you know what? Y'all hear all those claps? Did y'all see the other week when Trump went to the UFC and everybody was clapping? When patriots or Trump supporters clap for Trump, it's like when Christians clap for Jesus. Same thing. Demons go, oh, man. Democrats go, oh, man. Because they know that he has the heart of the people. Just like demons know if Christians, Jesus has the heart. I mean, Christians have the heart. Jesus has the heart of Christians. Yeah, that's what it was. I almost had a Joe Biden moment. But nonetheless, this is a problem for them. Every time they see this dude getting more famous, more support, more applause, all of that stuff, it burns them up. They thinking, what else can we do? We've been throwing everything at this dude. Boy, I tell you. And the folks just keep supporting him more and more. And I guess they're just dumb like that. Maybe they don't realize what they're doing. What they're doing is revealing how corrupt and evil they are, which makes a lot of people say, I don't like to see y'all pile up on that man right there. It's no different than anybody with a conscience. When you see people piling up or bullying or attacking one person, you look at that and say, I don't even know that person, but it's something about seeing 5 people jump on that person. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. So therefore, I'm rooting for the underdog. They're making him a martyr, and they're just too dumb to see it. And they don't even temper it. They're not spreading it out. 5 indictments. Come on, y'all. Come on. You could have stopped at 2, maybe 3, but no. We're going to try to make y'all believe that Trump's that corrupt that he gets 5 indictments, whereas the next crook we're about to see gets none.
they feel, I guess, they want to try and demean and diminish and frighten people, but they don't frighten us because we're going to make America great again. That's all there is. We're going to make America.
Not me. So let's check out the real criminal, y'all.
Welcome back. Now, a former FBI agent confirming and corroborating to the House Oversight Committee key details of what the IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley said in testimony about the alleged cover-up into Hunter Biden's shady business deals, the influence peddling of the Biden family. The committee says that the agent told them how both the Secret Service and the Biden transition team were tipped off about their planned Hunter Biden interview the night before.
Is that interference in an investigation? That's what I'm wondering. So now, all of these whistleblowers coming out, laying out the case of interference with the investigation, laying out the case that Creepy and the crackhead are both corrupt and evil. We got evidence all over. Not one indictment on Joe Biden yet. Not one. What's the chances of that, guys? Only a dumb person or ignorant person who don't follow politics and ain't able to see, is not able to see that Joe Biden has evil crumbs all over. He's like my former dog, Raven. That's what she was. She was a black, what was she, a poodle? Something, something poo. Cockapoo. That's what she was. All black. Went and ate some seasonal peanut butter cookies and had no idea that all those cookie crumbs was in her little beard. Came upstairs, jumped up on the bed, licking those chops, and didn't even realize all of the evidence was right here on her chin. All I had to do was lean in and go, that's peanut butter. She ate all the cookies. Didn't she? Thought she was smart. Came, brought the evidence right to me. That's the funny part about it. Thought she was smart. Like, yeah, I got away with it. Same thing with Joe and the crackhead. So all of that evidence just everywhere. And they think, what? We got away with it, right? No, you didn't. If it wasn't for the intel community, if it wasn't for the corrupt DOJ, if it wasn't for the media trying to cover, these dudes should be thrown in the slammer. But instead, they're going after Trump again. Huh.
And on the day of the interview, federal agents were told to stand by and not approach Hunter Biden.
Little tip.
Tomorrow, IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley, whistleblower X, and House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Jason Smith will appear before the House Oversight Committee in testimony.
Well, the agent has confirmed two important aspects of it, and it's the theme of the whole thing of this investigation. Number one is the Biden family itself and their dealings, and so he's corroborated everything from the transactions that took place. The other thing that goes on is the actual interference by Department of Justice into that investigation being conducted by line IRS agents and other line agents, that they basically came in and stopped search warrants from being executed. They tipped off Hunter Biden's attorneys and the Secret Service to prevent him.
Get out of here, y'all. So wait a minute. Trump, the one that Biden's trying to stop from running again. Now, let's be honest. It's not Biden. It's whoever handles Biden. Because if it is Biden, Biden's naive. He doesn't even realize he's not running again. In his mind, he might be, I'm running. I'm going to win. I won the first one with 81 million votes. Right? Yeah. Yeah, you did, bud. You did. You're doing great. Now go out there and read that teleprompter if you can. But nonetheless, we're looking at what? So all of these little funneling accounts of money, all that stuff, all of that money coming in from China. We got text messages and we got all that stuff from the crackhead talking about some, yeah, you're going to give us that money. You understand that? All of that. You got Biden on video saying, I told him to fire that prosecutor looking into Burisma, where my son was making $87,000 a month. Just figure. Go figure. That's crazy. It's coincidence. It's coincidence. All of this stuff. Then you get money coming into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of his family members that don't own a business, don't own products, don't own anything. And yet they always getting money from China and all that. Nothing to see here though, right? Nothing to see. So all of these people right here don't own nothing, getting money, and then they got the records of all the money coming in. Then you get the DOJ, where Garlic got up there. I would not interfere with this investigation. I will give him the freedom to go anywhere he wants. And then we find out that he was. His DOJ has been stifling the IRS from really going after the crackhead, because they know if they get the crackhead, they're going to get creepy. They come with a package deal, creepy and the crackhead. So let's continue, because this is hard evidence to overlook. It really is. Where are all the whistleblowers for Trump? Where are all the, look, why ain't they coming out the woodwork? See, because they got to go dig up whistleblowers underneath rocks and out of caves for Trump, as they get up there and lie and say stuff. Oh, well, you know, I wasn't in the beast, but I heard about a guy who works in the kitchen that a fight occurred inside. They bring out people like that. But yet we got legitimate whistleblowers, and nobody's indicting Creepy Sleepy.
From being interviewed by these line agents, and then they have the audacity to come back and say, let's stand down. We're not going to go in and do any of this stuff. So he's corroborating of what what the IRS whistleblowers have said as well. So this is being corroborated throughout and being ignored by the Democrats and the left. But the reality is this is becoming more salient, there's more gravitas, there's more weight to this all the time. And that's what we're going to see tomorrow when we get these whistleblowers in front of the Oversight Committee.
Now, I haven't watched it yet. I know it occurred today because I put this together last night, and I'm going to be checking that out and probably doing a video on that as well. But it appears that the corruption is starting to overflow. Yeah. There is so full up that it's just coming out the barrel that we're acting like we don't see it. But yet they're still going after Trump. Now, do you really think that the DOJ is going to direct their attention towards Biden? Well, no, because if they go after Biden after doing all of what we just heard, then they technically will be going after themselves. See how that works? Same thing, the FBI. Do you really think the FBI is going to hold itself accountable after all of the crap that they've done? Like, for example, they've overlooked the laptop. Now, why would they go after Biden on that laptop when they overlooked it? If they go after him, guess what that does? It highlights the fact that they're corrupt too. You should have been went after him. You had the laptop a year ago or two before it ever even hit the public. So why didn't you go after him? See, these are things that if they go after them after being busted and after all of this comes out, then it also shows that you're corrupt because you knew that it was going down and you didn't do nothing about it. Y'all sat back knowing you had that audio tape of Biden on the phone with whomever trying to do that shakedown. Y'all sat back and sat on it. And if it wasn't for Grassley finding out about it, you would still be sitting on it. That's why you're not going after Biden over that. Because if you do, then you got to answer some questions. Why did you wait so long? Why didn't you let anybody know about this? You knew you had this. Did you not know the man was running for president? Did you not know this man was using his office for shakedowns? So it would incriminate them too. And that's why they're just letting this crap go. Dang on it. So now, here we go. Oh, remember though, guys, this is the same DOJ that stopped the special counsel against Hunter. The same ones that we just heard. Whereas, all right, you know what? Don't go after Hunter too much. Just give him a slap on the wrist. Is allowing the special counsel against Trump to do this crap. Unbelievable. Burns me.
These people are coming after Trump. Here we go. Donald Trump just announced that he has been notified that he's the target of the grand jury investigation in January 6th. Expects to be indicted and arrested. And then we're going to talk through exactly what the tactic is here by the left. Because this is all a tactic to kick Donald Trump off the ballot based on Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Statement by Donald Trump, 45th President of the United States. Wow! On Sunday night, I was with my family, having just arrived from Turning Point event in Florida, where I won the straw poll against Republican candidates by 85%, with all the polls showing me leading the Republican primary, very substantial numbers, and everyone predicting that I'll be the Republican nominee for president. I'm leading Democrat Joe Biden, and then horrifying news for our country was given to me by our attorneys. Deranged Jack Smith, the prosecutor with Joe Biden's Department of Justice, sent a letter again on Sunday night stating that I am the target of the January 6th grand jury investigation.
Wow. Jack Smith. That dude's all over the place. So now Trump gets this letter. Now, you do understand, guys, they're trying to stop him because you could only do so much rigging of elections. I mean, that's the thing. If they are looking right now and saying, man, this dude, he has become more popular after all this crap we've done. We know we bullcrapped and got away with that last one with the 81 million votes and the virus shut down everything. And now we got to go door to door collecting votes, and we could shut down voting stations and then boot them back up the next morning. And all of a sudden our candidate's winning because we got a big old fat dump of all. They can only do so much of that. See, now coming into this next one, even though I knew they were going to do it the last one too, but even more so this one, I would hope that people would be on the swivel, heads looking around. See, I would hope that people would be like, man, I'm taking a photocopy of my vote to make sure that everybody knows who I voted for. I want an accountability to my vote, hopefully. And if the people go so hard and overwhelmingly vote for Trump, there's not enough cheating that they can do. So the best plan of action is to stop him from running, eliminate the potential of this dude dropping another upset on these corrupt people. So now, what are they really up to, Benny? Let's see.
Giving me a very short 4 days to report to the grand
4
jury
days.
almost always means an arrest and indictment. So now Joe Biden's Attorney General, Merrick Garland, who I turned down for the United States Supreme Court in retrospect based on his corruption and unethical actions, very wise decision, together with Joe Biden's Department of Justice, have effectively issued a third indictment and arrest of Joe Biden's #1 political opponent, who is largely dominating him in the race. Nothing like this has ever happened in our country before, or even close. They illegally spied on my campaign, attacked me, totally fake dossier, funded by Hillary Clinton, the Mueller witch hunt. They failed on Russia hoax, the 51 intelligence agents fraud, Twitter files.
Now look at this trail of corruption. Look at this trail of attacks and failures. Look at all the arrows they shot and said, bing! Oh man, we missed him. Oh, you know what? We'll get him a little bit further down the trail. Set up another trap. Then we find out that these people was purposefully setting up things to go after him. They were corrupt. They were falsifying information. They were omitting information. They were violating all kind of rules, rights, and regulations and all of that stuff. They get busted, and yet they just don't stop. You would think they would go, ooh, everybody knows we did it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Let's do it again. How in the world can these agencies keep trying to entrap Trump, set him up, bring up all of this stupid stuff? How can they continue to do this when everybody is saying, if you're smart, you're saying, this right here, man, is bullcrap. They're making this crap up. And yet we're able to see all of the corruption that dang on creepy and the crackhead is involved in. And they're falsifying and stretching stuff to try to make it look like Trump did all of this stuff. It's unreal to me, man. You would think they would be humble enough to say, wow, we got busted trying to set Trump up like 3 or 4 times, including the Democrats, FBI, CIA people, all of that. Media busted line on Trump about the first 3 or 4 times that they tried this crap. But yet they act like they don't even remember that. You would think they would go, ooh, our track record's real bad, man. But instead, they just like, our low IQ voters and viewers won't even remember how many times we said Trump's a Russian agent. Trump did this, Trump did that, only to find out it was a lie. And now here we back again talking about Trump is going down this time because he inspired an insurrection. Are you kidding me? Do you understand the level of lack of brain cells you have to not catch that? To not be able to put this all together and say, they've been doing this crap since day one and they're still doing it. And then they've been busted for lying about this, but I'm still believing it. Unreal.
DOJ, Facebook censorship, and every other scam imaginable. But on top of that, they have now effectively indicted me 3 times, with the possibility of a 4th coming in Atlanta, where the DOJ are in strict and possibly illegal coordination with the district attorney. The witch hunt is about election interference and completely and total political weaponization of law enforcement. Sad, dark day for our nation.
It sure is. Now I'm going to have to change my title of this live stream because I thought it was 4 times, and that would be the 5th if they do it in Atlanta. So it sounds like this would be the 3rd indictment. Then, if they do another indictment in Atlanta 4 times. Now, what are the chances of that? When is the last president you've seen get indicted 4 times? All over the place. Not to mention 2 impeachments. 2 impeachments, 4 indictments, potentially 4 indictments. Huh? That's normal, right? No, it's not. That's the problem. And everybody knows it's not normal if you're smart and if you're honest. So let's find out what the diabolical plan is, because you know they got a motive. It's an end game. And I think Benny is hip to it, and so am I.
There's a reason why they're trying to do this.
What?
And that reason is found inside of the 14th Amendment. And this was, of course, written after the Civil War and adopted, that no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elected president or vice president or hold any office, civil, military, under the United States, under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress, officer of the United States, member of the state legislature, or exclusive executive officer or judiciary, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or been given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. Congress has the ability to vote 2/3 to remove this disability. Okay.
Now, isn't that funny? How all of these words just get dug up out of nowhere? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. See, words have meanings, guys. And if they don't have a meaning, then the Democrats will make up a word. They'll just come up with something new, like dis and misinformation, stuff like that. But these are tactics. These are strategic tactics that they sit back and say, let's launch a preemptive strike on this man. How can we do this? Okay, we got a lot of people coming up here on on January 6th? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Sprinkle a whole bunch of people in that crowd. Stick that Bigfoot out there talking about tomorrow. Yeah. Stick him out there. Make sure that some folks get, sucked into this, and then create this huge, grandiose narrative that somehow Trump inspired an insurrection, not just told people to go over and peacefully let their voices be heard. No, not that. That might have been what y'all heard. But when you got those corrupt ears, you heard him say, go over to the Capitol, break the doors down, go in, grab Nancy Pelosi, Mike Pence, let's hang him, and all of that stuff. That's what they heard. See, all the fake news and all of these Democrats, I guess they heard the real translation of it. But why wouldn't we? I mean, if he's blowing the dog whistle to us, wouldn't we have known that? Why didn't I get the memo about the plan? See, because there was no plan. But they needed some way to stop this man from running. So they went through their books and said, what law could he have violated to where he can't run again? Oh, okay, this is back from how many years ago? And we don't even use this term that much. Let's go with insurrection. Everybody, that's the new key word. Let's start using insurrection to define this trespassing, I guess, tour that took place and a couple people pushing each other and stuff like that. Let's start using that and ram it home. I want everybody on the media. Insurrection. Why aren't you calling it an insurrection? You need to call it an insurrection. Until Ray Epps gets accused of launching that insurrection, then all of a sudden it became a protest. It was a protest after that. You got to wonder why. Why did they change that term for Ray Epps? Could it be that he's one of them? But nonetheless, for the rest of those peasants, they're insurrectionists, and it was all launched by Donald Trump. Because if he is a part of an insurrection, he could never run for office again.
Okay, this is what this charge is about. It has always been curious to me why they've insisted on the insurrection labeling. The insurrection label. It was something that was plucked really out of the nomenclature of a bygone era. Nobody's talked about insurrection. This is a lexicon item from a very distant past. When's the last time you heard the term insurrection in your lifetime? I'm 30.
Exactly. Insurrection. Put your political opponents in jail. That's what they're trying to do. An insurrection is being carried on by these people with their power and all of their folks on the inside and the deep state and all of them working together against them and all these prosecutors and all of these folks under the DOJ and the FBI and all of that. This is the real insurrection we're watching. All of this is interference in the upcoming election. And watch how they try to flip it and make it appear that if you see this as an insurrection or election interference, then you are actually a part of the next insurrection. Did y'all know that? Another insurrection's coming? Did y'all know that? Well, we're about to find out the secondary plan. First plan, label Trump as an insurrectionist and see if we can get him under this 14th Amendment. And then the secondary plan is something else, which we're about to talk about.
37 years old. I had never heard it in the lexicon until January 6th. And then they started hitting the insurrection then suddenly became like a zeitgeist word. Everyone knew its meaning.
Heard it everywhere.
Insurrection meaning a violent uprising against the authority or government. Insurrection is often armed. Of course, there were no arms. The only arms used in the January 6th insurrection was used against Ashley Babbitt to murder an unarmed woman. This term has been selected specifically for this purpose and this purpose alone.
Wow. Now, that was the weakest insurrection I've ever seen, if that's the case. You ever seen an insurrection like that, guys? So disorganized, I mean, wow. Where was the leader? What was the end game? What was the goal and objective, huh? Did Trump ride in on a big fat white horse right after the Capitol was breached and said, now I'm in here, everybody set up a perimeter. We're going to go ahead and hold this down from here. Where was the insurrection? When is the last insurrection that you saw to whereas the victims inside of the building was able to go back to work a few hours later and finish their work? Yeah. Yep. Real insurrection. No guns, nothing. Ran up in there with nothing but cell phones and MAGA hats. Let's get them. Take that. Now, change your selection. Hold on for a second. I want to get some pictures of the stuff on the wall. There we go. There we go. Now, I want you to change the election. That's not an insurrection. Dang on it. No election was changed because of it. The real change of the election took place way before the election day. But hey, whoa. Look at this. Look who else was a part of the insurrection.
Drain the swamp.
Wait. Is that a white nationalist Trump supporter right there, y'all? Huh? Did y'all hear that? Because remember, insurrection. Everybody needs to be thrown in jail because of the insurrection. Anybody who participated on J6 should go to jail, right? Well, why is this guy with a camera on his body saying drain the swamp?
Go!
Oh, he's a...
Go!
Oh, well, he's an undercover. He's been planted in there by some agency. So now here he is, instead of saying, stop it, everybody, calm down. Let's get the cops in there to stop this. Instead of him doing that, what is this cop doing? What is this undercover doing? Yes, that's right. Drain the swamp. Drain the swamp. Go.
Help him up!
Help him up.
Help him up!
Somebody go get that insurrectionist right there. Because it sounds like the feds were part of the insurrection. It sounds like we had people from different agencies a part of this insurrection. Wow. I thought the insurrection was just organic. I thought only Trump supporters knew about it and stuff like that. But apparently, FBI agents knew about it. They were in the White House prior to the doors being breached with MAGA hats on. It seems like all of these folks knew about the insurrection was coming, except for us, except for Trump supporters. I got an invite up there to Washington, but guess what? It didn't say, hey, come up here for Insurrection Day. Bring your gas mask that Antifa always wears. Yeah, bring your all black, stuff like that. They didn't give me nothing like that. I thought I would have just been coming and support the rally over there and then walk over and let my voice peacefully be heard at the Capitol. That's what I thought we were doing. But apparently, all these undercover folks knew for some reason insurrection's coming. Now, if they knew it was coming, first things first, why do you need to dress up as an undercover? You should be setting up some type of perimeter and saying, stop this mess. Secondly, if you were an undercover, your job should be to stop the crime before it happens. You go undercover to be able to prevent the crime from happening, not participate in it. But that guy's out there talking about some go, push him up. You're not trying to stop the crime. What you're doing is you're encouraging the crime. You're entrapping people. That's what you're doing, Mr. Insurrectionist that ain't being held accountable. But yet they're going after Trump. Nobody's going after this guy. Nobody's going after all those agents sprinkled in, and none of them tried to stop the insurrection. Running along with the bulls. That's what they were doing. Who else knew about this insurrection somehow? Magically.
Oh, wait! Push him up!
Push him up!
Secret Service said they have dissuaded him from coming to Capitol Hill. They told him they don't have the resources to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh.
If he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is why I would pay to see. They're waiting for this.
I've been waiting for
the
this.
Trespassing on the Capitol grounds.
Wait a minute. How did I know that there would be trespassing on the Capitol grounds? And why was I waiting for it? Why did my daughter bring a camera and record me as I go into the basement? I just don't know why she would do such a thing like that. Now, step back. This right here is fire. Oh, yes. That's good, nasty. That's good. Now, what was my lines? Back to Trump. Now, I want him to come over here right now. Yes, so I can punch him right in the face. That's what I'll do. That woman. How does she know? How does she know the Capitol grounds were going to be breached? How does she know? She sat back right there in that scene. I've been waiting for them to, enter the Capitol trespassing. Been waiting for it. Who waits for that? You telling me when you went to work that morning to do this, you were like, man, you know what I'm waiting on? For a whole bunch of people to trespass on the Capitol. Sounded like you were quite happy for that to have occurred because it gave you leverage to launch this fake bootleg narrative that an insurrection took place. And then got the nerve of being there with that crooked monkey paw talking about I'll punch him in the face. I'll go to jail. And I like it. So it's interesting that the woman right there who removed people, who made sure that they were understaffed, made sure that we didn't have National Guard troops there, didn't answer the call when the sergeant at arms or whoever he was calling, trying to get back up. Yeah, that woman. The woman who walked slowly down there, took her time while folks was filming her, and then sold the film for some millions and stuff. That woman. But she's not a part of the insurrection, right? Unreal.
I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail.
Be
happy.
And be happy. Here's a secondary preemptive strike plan, y'all. So remember, first, let's try to stop him with these bootleg 14th Amendment charges. And it's going to be difficult because guess what we got to do? We got to prove that somehow, even though Trump never said anything in his speech, that we could even bend and contort and twist to make it sound like he said, go over there and storm the Capitol. We somehow got to convince a jury that that's what he meant. Secondly, we somehow got to convince the jury that when he rejected the results of the election, he did it on purpose, meaning he knew that he lost, but he didn't care. Now, he's not a Democrat. Democrats do that. They get their butts beat in elections and still will come out and say, no, man, no, they cheated. They cheated. Democrats do that for years. Right now, if Trump is an insurrectionist for denying the election, knowing that he lost, Hillary Clinton, she's still going on network side. Well, you know what? He knows he's an illegitimate president. Yeah. What about dang on Stacey Abrams down there with the gap in between the teeth? Huh? She should still be the governor of Georgia, according to Chameleon Harris. So now they're trying to say that Trump really knew that he lost. But so what? Let's go ahead and take this thing back, y'all. That's what they're trying to say. That's what they got to prove.
Democrats issue another warning. There's a coup coming. We already had one. Now we might have another.
Another
so
coup?
We've got Jamie Raskin and others
The
who are
poodle
laying
on
the
top.
framework, what I fear is going to be their attack strategy against Donald Trump. If Donald Trump caused an insurrection already and they prosecute him for that insurrection, they're going to say that he's going to do it again. And just like somebody who breaks the law repeatedly, courts don't let those people out. And so the Democrats are going to say Trump needs to be incarcerated or gagged or severely limited lest he insurrect again. They say he's going to be running again, and if he loses again, he's going to deny it again, and that justifies the DOJ and the courts doing something pretty serious.
Now, if you think this has no validity, all you have to do is listen to the talking points. All you have to do is start listening to who they're sending out to the TV stations and what they're saying. They seem to all be on one accord. They seem to be laying the groundwork for this narrative. So not only do they want to stop him from running, then they also want him to like it. They want him to shut his mouth up and let them just punch on him. That's what they want. So the dang bootleg Jamie Raskin, aka Poodle, up top on his head, which apparently cut the poodle off or something happened to him. He's ran a do-rag. But nonetheless, they want to stop Trump from even talking about it because they know Trump knows what they're doing is corrupt. And when he gets out there on that stage and he exposes them and he brings it up and he drops a memo out on Truth Social and all of that stuff, people get excited. People's able to connect with him. People see what they're doing to him and all of that. So they want to silence this man. They want to set him up and try to entrap him, just like they wanted to entrap us by encouraging us to, get so upset to where we overreact to an indictment. And next thing you know, they got another narrative. See, we told y'all this was the greatest threat to the homeland. Look at all these. But we're not stupid, see? We're not stupid. So, yeah, let's see how they're laying the groundwork here to try to silence Trump and lay the groundwork to where if Trump gets upset and recognizes the real insurrection that's taking place right now, the real election interference, if Trump recognizes that and exposes it, we'll just say, once again, Trump's an insurrectionist. Once again, Trump's encouraging violence. Once again, Trump's an election denier. So here it is.
And this is not an isolated thought. There are many people now saying that Trump's conduct is essentially an ongoing crime and that the old coup is just evidence that a new coup is coming down the line.
Now look at Egghead. Look at Egghead right there. Do you see that perfectly shaped egg? Right now, that man right there could play Humpty Dumpty without a costume, no effects, no CGI or nothing, no makeup. They'll straight be like, bring this dude in. All right, where's the makeup? You don't need that. You don't need none of that. That's why we hired you. You are a perfect representation of Humpty Dumpty. Thing on it. Now go, get in there. Action. So let's hear Humpty Dumpty set up this whole scenario right here. I'm sorry. Every time I see that dude's head, man, granted, I got a bald head, but that's that's on a whole nother level right there. That mug looks like they literally took it out of a carton and set it right on top of that neck right there. Is that a real egg on your neck? Wow. You got a real egghead. So anyway, let's hear Egghead and Poodle up top try to lay down the groundwork for this garbage.
Lake in Arizona continues to lie about the election. Donald Trump continues to lie about the election. And in truth, no one has faced the consequences about lying about this election and undermining democracy.
Y'all hear that? You hear all that loaded stuff that the egghead just dropped out? Carrie Lake lied about the election. Donald Trump lied about the election. And in truth, nobody has faced the consequence. Is there consequences for not believing an election was legit? Last I checked, we're allowed to say, I think something was real funny about that. I don't think that was a legit election. Yeah, I have the right to question that. But according to him, that if you're an election denier, you're undermining democracy. That's what you're doing. You're pretty much an enemy of the state. See what they're doing now? You don't think this is tyrannical right here? You don't think this is, banana republic tactics? They're laying the groundwork not only to go after any politician who disagrees with the election results, but also all of the people that disagrees with those election results. Now, whether you're Democrat or Republican, do you want to live in a country where if you disagree with election results, you're labeled as an insurrectionist? You're undermining democracy. But if they were honest, they're undermining democracy right now. If they're honest, every single Democrat who we had on videotape talking about, I stand against this election, I stand up here to oppose this election, every single one of them would be undermining democracy. Hillary Clinton, undermining democracy. Nasty Pelosi, you know what? He knows he's not legitimate. All of that. They all would be undermining democracy, but it only comes down to us when we disagree. We're undermining democracy, and there needs to be a price. Notice what he did. He basically is saying your right to oppose the results of an election is so wrong and so threatening that a price need to be paid. Now, is that America? Let's see.
Well, the political scientists will tell you that the single biggest predictor of coup coming is a recently failed coup, where the coup plotters are able to determine what are the weaknesses in the current regime they can exploit next time and what mistakes they made that they can correct.
Now, this guy right here, this poodle up top that got cut off his head is projecting. They are now doing their second attempt at another coup. These folks, they're looking at the cracks that they couldn't plug up and they're going after them. All right, wait now. Okay, we got blindside social media. We got that. All right, we got to make sure that we go after these people over here. We got to make sure the J6 thing is blown up and make sure that seems like these folks right here are laying the groundwork for their second attempt at another coup. But yet he's trying to say that it is Trump and I guess whoever else is preparing for another coup. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. I mean, the election haven't even taken place yet, and this man's talking about a coup. So he's laying the groundwork because it's another form of a preemptive strike to silence Trump, get a gag order, and say he's dangerous. Just because he doesn't accept the election, he's doing what he did the first time. He's encouraging these brain-dead Republican voters who don't have the ability to think for themselves. They can't do it. And when Trump says he disagrees with something, they all decide to go and just storm the Capitol and stuff because that's what he's doing. And it's so obvious to us.
In order to orchestrate a similar attack in the future. And it's also the case from very clear historical studies that when an insurrection takes place, an attempted coup takes place, and there is not a complete, full accounting of what took place and a repudiation of the coup, that gives greater impetus to the coup plotters to go out and do it again. So,
dun, 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 dun. Kevin Smash. So you hear this fool. That's what he is. He's a corrupt dirtbag, man. So now here he is coming out talking about when there's just not enough. So let me understand. The impeachment garbage found him innocent. Then y'all run it back with that bootleg J6 committee. That failed. And you're saying that nobody paid a price. for the coup. Therefore, when you don't punish people, hint, hint, make sure we punish them this time if y'all don't want the same thing to happen. But if you don't punish people, then they'll do it again. That should apply to all of these raggedy deep state actors and these Democrats. They just get out there and they lie. They go to Congress and they lie. You got Comey who lied, and there's never any consequences. Clapper, Brennan, all of them, Page, all of those folks, they do this because nothing ever happens to them, and that's why they keep doing the coup again. See, they keep doing it, running it back. But yet he's projecting all of that onto who? I guess maybe he's talking about just Trump. I mean, who is he actually referring to? Trump doesn't have the power. He's not in the White House. He's not running the government right now. So what is this fool talking about? Only a fool and an idiot and an ignorant person would hear this and say, that makes sense. Yeah, this is a pretty, You're looking at the coup right here. That cuckoo bird is trying to launch a coup.
So this is a critical issue when you've got Donald Trump followers running around the country saying either Antifa did it or it didn't really happen or it's been overblown or it was all a government plot.
FBI did it. Yep, you're right. See, now, notice the groundwork. Remember, he's covering everything. See, so this is their second attempt at a coup, and they're looking at all the cracks. We can't just go after Trump. Whenever we get on TV and push propaganda and we try to demonize Trump, make sure you include all of the folks who voted for him. Because, see, remember, guys, we're laying the groundwork for extremists to be the biggest threat to the homeland. All of these conservatives that happen to watch all of the overwhelming evidence that makes us question what really took place on J6. Yeah, all of those people, whether they were there or watching it or supports Trump or don't believe that what they saw really happened the way it happened, all of them folks are also a part of this mess. They're also victims of Trump's manipulation, and these folks can be dangerous to our democracy. So now, you see, it's twofold. Not just Trump, but this time, y'all, we got to prepare for all his voters too. Lump them in somehow in this coup.
And, that's why it's great that people are standing up across the board to challenge the big lie and all of the other lies, the medium-sized lies and the little lies that follow in its train.
Yeah, y'all see that? We're all liars and lies and the big lie. So you got to use big terms like the big lie. Because when you use that, then people will equate it to the Holocaust, So the big lie. Now, it's funny because that big lie was Hitler lying about the Jews being corrupt and evil and responsible for all of the problems in dang on Germany. And now we got these folks doing the same thing, lying about conservatives and labeling us as the source of all the problems in the country. But yet here he's talking about the big lie. He's doing exactly what Heil Hitler did. They've been doing that for years now, labeling us as domestic terrorists, greatest threat to the homeland, insurrectionists, all of that mess. That's the big lie. But here he is trying to say all of us are pushing the big lie who questions that election. Who else? Now notice what Raskin did, poodle up top. He came out, but mysteriously other people are echoing the same stuff.
We're actually going to try to limit Donald Trump in what he can do and say. And why I think that is because other people are saying that Trump's lies turn into actual threats. This is Jocelyn Benson. She was with the state of Michigan, and now she is emerging.
Y'all ready for this liar?
Hear from her how dangerous Donald Trump is.
Yeah, he's dangerous, guys. Remember, Donald Trump's dangerous. How is Donald Trump dangerous? Can you tell me? This is where people got to check their logic. Number one, when he was the president, name one thing that endangered American citizens. See, now, if you're delusional, you'll think he endangered the illegal immigrants coming here and his words were dangerous. And when he disagreed with stuff, that's danger. That's like violence against people. If you're delusional and stupid like that. But if you are smart, you say, whoa, wait. None of the stuff they said that he would do happened. Then he gets out of office and they're still saying this guy's dangerous somehow. But how is he actually dangerous? They don't have no audio recordings of him encouraging dangerous activities. And it's just fact, he was like, stop the crime in the streets. Don't let these people burn down cities and stuff like that. Rioting is bad. Human trafficking is bad. Illegal drugs coming into the country is bad. An open border is bad. China ripping us off is bad. Iran getting nuclear weapons is bad. North Korea working on their nuclear program is bad. That guy. How about this one? Joining a one world government is bad. That's what got him on the bad list of these corrupt politicians. So now let's hear this woman come out and mess up her script, y'all. They didn't give her talking points, but she gonna flub it up.
And what did you tell Jack Smith's investigators?
I can't, as I've said, I don't want to compromise the investigation itself, but a lot of what I've said is already public through my testimony to the January 6th committee hearing before Congress in 2022. So a lot of the focus is on Antrim County. We know that a lot of the experiences that we had were about how lies and threats transformed themselves and manifested themselves. I'm sorry, how lies around our elections transformed themselves into threats against us personally and how that impacted us.
Good, much better.
And not to mention.
So now you got to combine it. See what she's doing? See, you can't just have lies, but then threats. Remember, see, this is how they bubble wrap themselves from criticism. See, because if you disagree with me, these are threats. You're endangering me. Even the bootleg prosecutor is talking about, I'm a gag order for Trump, or a restraining order or something, because, all of this stuff is endangering me. I can't do my job properly. You deserve criticism, pal. Unreal. Suck it up, Buttercup. Now, let's finish hearing this lady because she got to do take two.
The false slate of electors, which appears to be a very intentionally coordinated effort to lie to the federal government about who won an election.
See him laying the groundwork?
A couple little sound bites there. So the first take on that was not that good. She had to take two takes on that one. Donald Trump's lies turned into election. Sorry, I screwed it up. So let me start that over again. What I meant to say is Donald Trump's lies almost turned into murder for me. What I meant to say is Donald Trump almost murdered me. Okay, and the producers were back there like... Got it.
Nailed it.
Good. Got it the third time. Yeah, more of that. A lot more of that. Trump's lies turn into actual threats. She nails it. She's like, woof, got it.
You see that, guys? Now, did y'all know that? Did y'all know lies turn into threats? Now, lies have consequences because, see, you got to understand, too. The Democrats have been lying about this whole thing for a long time. Remember, y'all, we started off with Trump being a Russian agent. Now, that lie has serious consequences. Not only did they spend tons of money allowing Trump to be prosecuted and all of that stuff and investigated, all that money, they hindered his ability to function his whole first term. Not to mention, if Trump wasn't level-headed, they could have launched us straight into World War II. If Trump wasn't smart enough to see y'all are trying to goat me into overreacting and compensating for y'all accusations that I'm a Russian agent, even though all his policies were tough as heck on Russia, somehow he was a Russian agent. If Trump wasn't, patient, if Trump wasn't tempered enough, we would have been at war with Iran. Remember that? When Nasty Pelosi and dang on Chuck Schumer came out clapping after Trump okayed a response to Iran shooting down our drone. And then Trump decides, pull that drone, no, pull them back. It ain't worth it. I know they were sitting there like, we were so close. We were so close. Do you understand the lives that would have been in danger if they would have let that crap go through? Do you understand the risk that they put our country in as they had tried to vet Trump against dang on Russia? They didn't care. They were willing to see something like that go down because they wanted this man out of office. They're like, if people got to die, they got to die. Dang on it. So, yeah, we see the real dangerous lies that's being spread. And now, all of a sudden, the truth comes out about how y'all rigged something and been faking stuff and attacking and abusing your power. And now y'all calling that a lie. When you're able to see their corruption, that's the lie. What you're seeing is a lie.
2022. So a lot of the focus is on Antrim County. We know that a lot of the experiences that we had were about how lies and threats transformed themselves and manifested themselves. I'm sorry, how lies around our elections transformed themselves into threats against us personally and how that impacted us. Not to mention the false slate of electors, which appears to be a very intentionally coordinated effort.
See that there? The false slate of electors is going to be the other angle on this. That's the intentionality. That's Trump not accepting the final conclusion and then now coordinating and reorganizing to seize power in the country.
Now you see how they're circling? You see how the second insurrection attempt by these folks right here is more broad. Yeah, they're laying the groundwork. They're like, what do we need to cover? Let's cover all our bases, okay? Let's make sure we include the electors, make sure we include lies, make sure we include the narrative that this is a threat and my life's in danger and all of, oh, wait, don't forget, we have to include the voters as well. Any of those that recognize our lies and corruption, their danger and they're spreading the big lie and all that stuff. FBI, you got it. You're taking care of your part, right? You're making sure you go after all the Trump supporters and label them as insurrectionists and dangerous to the homeland. Okay, everybody got that? All right, let's make sure the other people in their categories, they are widespread when it comes down to this. And I'm about to show y'all a undercover video to show you just how widespread this is. We're about to find out who really, if Ray and all of them were trying to go after the most dangerous threat and all these radicals, I cannot believe they have not brought these people in, which we're about to see in a minute.
Lie to the federal government about who won an election.
Amazing. So we know where this is going. They are gearing up and they're just putting their pieces in place. Trump and his lies turned into actual threats. It put her at risk and that may have broken the law. We'll see what Jack Smith does with it. Now, this is another woman on CNN. And
Are y'all ready? Y'all ready? See, remember, you got to know your enemy. You got to be able to see them trying to strategically position themselves to have everything covered when this all comes out. So now here's another key piece that they got to clear. They got to make sure they can convince their bubbleheads to support this crap by saying Trump knew exactly what he was doing and he did it anyway. However, Hillary didn't. When she had those laptops and Blackberries smashed and bleached, she didn't even know. Yeah, her intent was just to break them for breakage sake. Bleach it. Everybody wants it clean when they give it back. Just want to make sure it was nice and clean when I get, oh, you meant like just the outside. Oh, I thought you wanted us to clean the inside too. Yeah, my bad. Here you go though. Well, there's nothing on this. Well, I cleaned it. Yes, but we were going to use it for evidence. I know. I mean, what? Y'all going to use that for evidence? Wow. I'm so sorry. Nothing happened to her. Got to prove intent. Couldn't do it. But now they're trying to say Trump disagreed with this election and he knew he lost. So here's the groundwork, preemptive strike.
He's going to walk us through this reasonable person standard. This is something that exists in the law. We often will zoom out on cases and we'll ask ourselves objectively, did that thing that a person do, is that something that a reasonable person in that person's position would do? We often see this like in self-defense cases. Would a reasonable person have taken that out and defended himself in that way? And you say, well, yeah, I mean, it's reasonable. Why? Well, because that guy had a knife and he was coming at him and all the things. So,
see, it's the reason bar right there, the test. See, so same thing when I started my video. Would a reasonable person think that a president, former president, while running against his opponent, would be indicted 4 times? Is that reasonable? I mean, is that logical? Do you think that that's something that normally would happen? Does that not seem a little excessive? It's over the top, man. 4 indictments, 3, possibly 4 indictments. Are you kidding me? So a reasonable person would say, that's corrupt. They're trying to stop this guy. That's not even including the 2 impeachments and all the other garbage. It's not even including that. Unreal. So now let's see if she can convince us, y'all, that Trump knew about it.
So we're asking ourselves, would Trump be a reasonable person to deny the outcome of the 2020 election?
Yeah.
Is there any basis in that? She says no. There's no reasonable basis.
No?
No reasonable person could ever believe what Trump did.
I see it, I receive it, but legally speaking, what would be the consequence of him really believing that he won the election? Well, look, you know this as a former prosecutor. I know this as an attorney. It goes to the state of mind, right? So that's what he's trying to probe. Did he really believe this? Thus, did he lose his mind? Because honestly, he would have to not been in his right mind to believe that he won an election that he clearly lost, right?
Wow. Do you see this propagandist that CNN brought out there for the preemptive strike? Well, as a former prosecutor, I mean, Trump would have to be out of his mind to believe that he lost that election. See, so now she's preemptively trying to try this and convince us that Trump knew exactly what he was doing when he denied the election. He knew that he lost. Now, this is remarkable that CNN is in the propaganda business this obvious. All right, let's start CNN. You got that part covered, right? Your job is to convince your low IQ voters that Trump did this on purpose. He didn't really believe he won. Now, you know how hard it is to convince somebody that that's why Trump's been on this since day one, never stopped, never wavered, never wavered. So now they got to try to convince a jury that in all of this, Trump all did this knowing that he lost. And then she said, you got to be out your mind to think that you won that election rather. Where is Hillary? Was she out of her mind? She wasn't crazy? Why is it only Trump's crazy? What about all them Democrats up there at the Capitol talking about, I stand to oppose this election because people are scared, they're terrified. All of that. Are they all crazy too?
The aides were telling him that he lost the election. You have texts from Fox personalities and others going back and forth on January 6th about he needs to shut this down. You opened with Cassidy Hutchinson and her testimony, which I think was devastating, right? And Mark Meadows and how they felt about the president's state of mind before January 6th and otherwise. Chris Christie has talked about it, right?
So, did she just mention Chris Christie? She's obviously talking to a low IQ audience. None of these people mean anything to us. You know what means something to us? Our own rationale, our own common sense. I don't care what the people, same thing with Trump. That's why he's never wavered. I don't care if his chief of staff or whoever is right in his ear, like, Mr. Trump, you lost. No. If I felt I lost, I would eat that. Same thing with me. See, if I felt Trump legitimately lost, I would go, wow, we just got beat, man. That sucks, but we just got beat. But I know that that's not the case. But yet she's up here talking about, you got to be crazy to question this. Look at all the people. Look at all the people that said that. No. Look at all the millions of us voters that's still supporting Trump and still feel this way. So, yeah, you might have a couple in his ear saying, let's just let it go. Maybe you did lose and all of that stuff. But it's not just Trump that believes this. It's millions of us who believe it as well. Not because Trump told us. Not because he just got up there and told us. See, that's what they want y'all to think. They want us to think that it's all because Trump told folks to launch an insurrection. It's all because Trump said that he lost this. That's the only reason these people believe it. It's not because they have common sense. We're not Democrat voters. We don't just sit back and gobble down what people shove down our throat and believe it. We use reason. We use some facts. We use some cross references. We use common sense. But yeah, you up here trying to say any reasonable person want to.
Times on the campaign trail. So I think that there's no way he believed that he won that election. I think he decided he was going to take the election and overturn it.
That's the line that they're going to have to cross. It's pretty amazing that she just jumps to the conclusion that Trump could never have believed the alternative, which is amazing because we sat here believing the alternative, and I like to think we're somewhat reasonable here. But we saw all sorts of other mounds of evidence that showed that the election was highly problematic. We covered it here. We covered the lawsuits here. Now, the fact that a judge wasn't willing to reverse an election doesn't mean that there were constitutional problems with it, and there are court filings that support that, and we could point to many of them where the state legislatures were usurped by the secretaries of states and the courts in various different places that mattered, like Pennsylvania. So this is interesting, and I think as the time goes by, as the story evolves, we find that there's even more evidence, as now we know that Secretary of State Antony Blinken colluded with the CIA director Mike Morell. They created the 51 Hunter Biden laptop excuse cover-up letter.
Yeah, that doesn't give you any suspicion right there, does it? Anthony Blinken colluded with the 51 intel community people who lied about that laptop, that if they would have known about it on Twitter and let that stand, could have swayed the election. That gives me reason to start questioning an election. What else? What else do we have reason to believe?
They shoved that down all of our gullets, along with the FBI, putting pressure on Facebook and Twitter to suppress conservative speech, to stop anybody who is speaking out on behalf of Donald Trump. And the list goes on and on. So
yeah, because there's no reason for us to believe that Trump really won. No, there's no reason. So we got the FBI. We got, them lying about the laptop. We got them having people write letters talking about, it looks like Russian disinformation to me. We got all of that. Not to mention, we ain't even brought in the fact that we saw people boarding up windows in front of everybody. Yeah, we didn't even see that, right, guys? We didn't see those people on video camera down in Atlanta spending the night while they're swiping. They had a spend the night swipe party all night in there. Beep, 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 pulling out big old tubs. We didn't see that with our own eyeballs, did we? We didn't see them shut down all these locations and then Trump's winning, and all of a sudden, what just happened? He was crushing them. Now all of a sudden, they're back. Unreal to me. But she's saying nobody in their right mind. That's all we used is our common sense and our right mind to conclude that something wasn't right.
So it is, I think, entirely reasonable for Donald Trump to be in the position that he lost the election and to pursue that as far as he can take it. We live in an adversarial system where you're allowed to do that. And that's exactly what he did. And it went all the way up to January 6th, and Mike Pence went in there and did what Mike Pence did. And all of that is legal. They may not like it, but it's Trump believing thoroughly in his heart that the election was lost and that he was pursuing every available option till the end of time.
And that's the process they want shut down. They're trying to criminalize that legitimate process of questioning elections. They're trying to criminalize all of us who questioned it as well. All of the regular citizens. Notice what they were doing. Jamie Raskin Poodle up top. That guy out there talking about the people that voted for him and all of them running around spreading the big lies. Well, yeah. Needs to be some consequences. Egghead up there dropping us out there as the voters. They're trying to do that so they can bubble wrap their garbage and corruption the next time it's questioned. That's the preemptive strike. Y'all just questioning this because Trump brainwashed y'all. Y'all questioning this because y'all are insurrectionists. Y'all questioning this results not because of our common sense, not because of that, not because of us recognizing all your corruption. No, y'all questioning this stuff because y'all are the most biggest threat to the homeland. You're radicals and all of that mess. No, we're questioning it because we see corruption.
That is not criminal. They're trying to turn it into a criminal by saying no reasonable person would have believed that, but that's her position on that. I think there are plenty of reasonable people who saw the votes. We were watching them here all go like this, and then boom, all the mail-in ballots and everything suddenly changed. And it was a very strange affair that gets stranger by the day, but they're going to try to make this criminal now, okay? That Trump believed that. They're going to try to backfill this whole thing. I think personally that the days that go by, Trump's position becomes more reasonable, not less.
And if you really go back and look at Trump's rhetoric, starting as early as before the conventions of 2020, he was leading up to that about, I don't pledge to accept the results unless, I have to see. There was this wishy-washiness, right?
What? See, this woman think we're stupid. All right. See, notice that Trump leading up to the election, he wasn't even. Why would you be that dumb? Why would you lock yourself into that? The reason they were asking, just like they're doing this now, the reason they were asking Trump, would you accept the results of the elections regardless? You know why they were doing that? They were laying the groundwork for them cheating and not being able to be questions about their cheating. That's what they were doing. They were sitting here going, all right, now we're going to cheat. We're going to rig this thing. And it's going to be pretty obvious. And Trump's probably going to go ham and his voters are going to be upset. But what we need to do is get a confession out of him that regardless of how obviously corrupt this looks, I want him to say, all right, I did agree to accept it. He saw that coming too, and that's why he said, I'll accept it depending. We'll see. See, don't lock me into that. And then when it all comes out and I go, wow, there's corruption all over the place, but I can't even say nothing about it because I made a commitment. No, that's dumb. And here she is trying to make it seem like he already knew he was going to lose. You see him already disagreeing to accept the results?
It's the hedging of it's fair. Giving myself this plausible kind of deniability out that, I don't want to box myself in like every other ordinary person who runs for president says, yes, if I lose the election, I congratulate the other person and we do a transition and we move forward.
Oh, you mean like Hillary Clinton? That went off in the woods? Where am I? Who am I? Have to rethink my whole life? Walking around in the woods with the moo-moo on? You mean like that? You mean like all the Democrats on the floor talking about we are rejecting these votes? All of that, I oppose this? Like that?
That's the word that I hone in on, plausible deniability. There it is. Because in the law, one has to have some plausible basis to believe that statement in terms of the intent. It's a very difficult thing to prove, though. And I wonder, do you agree with what Jim talked about, that the fact that Kushner, Hicks have been now questioned, that makes this that much closer to the beginning of the end? Well, Laura, he would be derelict in his duty as the special prosecutor if he didn't go into that inner sanctum sanctorum, right, of people who would have had conversations with the president on election night, after the election day, and get to his state of mind. So I think he is closing the loop. I agree with your earlier guess about that he's winding this down to bring an indictment.
They want somebody to come out and say, I talked to Trump, and Trump said, I know I lost, but we're going to take it anyways.
Y'all see that? This man is smart, and so am I. Everything that they need to happen CNN and all of them are basically hand feeding the strategy to their audience so that their audiences think that it just happened organically. Wow, CNN mentioned that. Dang, that's crazy. We see CNN laying the groundwork for the coup. They're participating in this. So basically, hey, anybody out there willing to prostitute themselves and come out and try to make it seem like, Trump knew that he lost, you're going to get some bootleg person that they're going to drag out there. He didn't actually say that he didn't believe he won. He kind of alluded to it because of his facial expression. I thought right then, that's what they're going to have to do. For them to convince the jury that Trump sat back and knew it, they need somebody to come out and prostitute themselves and say that he knew about it. I was there and I heard him say something like that, but he went forward anyway.
I know Biden won, but can we do this? They're looking for somebody who can thread that needle, and they might find somebody. They might make somebody up. We know who we're dealing with here. But the clock is ticking. We have a timeline to attend to. And we know that Jack Smith has been hinting that a January 6th prosecution would be coming any minute now. We've read through many leaks from the New York Times and WAPO and all the other places. It should be soon because they want to get the trials done quickly. They're already fighting to get the Florida case trial done by December. And so if they have a DC case, they're going to want to get that one done quickly too, and the longer they wait, the more this encroaches into election season, which will then make it more difficult to have the trial right in the middle of that era. So now we know Fani Willis, the biggest Fanny in all of Georgia,
big fat Fanny,
she's about to prosecute Donald Trump, she says, by the end of this month. And what does that mean for Jack Smith? Does that mean he has to accelerate his case? Because it is very similar, a lot of overlap. Here is the report.
Federal prosecutors do not exactly love when parallel local investigations outpace their own. They want their evidence and their theory of the case to be the first version that the public hears. So DA Willis poses a problem for Special Counsel Smith. DA Willis has signaled that she anticipates announcing.
So you can see the timeline on this. July, August, we are nearing the end of July. And so Fani Willis indictment, likely they have the green arrow that comes all the way up to the 18th of August. But it could be as soon as July 31st when the grand jury is being impaneled. So It's coming up. And so if Jack Smith is going to increase or going to bring his indictment first, it's going to be coming soon, like in the next 2 weeks. But
rapid fire, guys. Y'all see that? That's normal. Indictment after indictment. Accusation after accusation. Investigation after investigation. That's normal. Yeah. So they're going to try to cram this mess in before the election season really get going. They're behind the gun. Now, this right here is going to be such a distraction for Trump trying to campaign, trying to address all of these stupid issues. They are throwing everything at him, and they know this is all garbage, and so do we. And guess who's behind it? The DOJ. They know all these bootleg charges and district attorneys that they somehow mustered up to be able to drop all of these indictments and charges and stuff. You best believe Garlic knows about it. He knows about it. But he also knows about Joe Biden and all of his corruption, and he's doing nothing. Not one indictment. In fact, he's smashing and stifling the investigation into the crackhead, thus also into Creepy. Same DOJ. Allowing all of this stupidity to go down during an election season against the leading candidate. But the current president, whistleblower after whistleblower, text after text, laptop, bank records, everything. And that dude's still walking around going, chocolate, chocolate, chip. He should be doing that from behind bars. And guys, if you want to really find out how the left and the deep state operates and who the real insurrectionists are, wait until you check this out.
They are assembling the talking points, warning that another coup is coming because the Trump indictment is right around the corner. And here is James Comer explaining what he thinks about MSNBC and their audience.
MSNBC? They know this family was money laundering. They were profiting off Joe Biden's influence. The media knows that. They're just not covering it. Then you have the liberal media like MSNBC with their low IQ audience that are sitting there and they're being told bad things about me and members of the oversight because we have the audacity to investigate.
I love it. He said they're low IQ audience. Now, I hate to say it, but once you get red pilled, once your eyes open, it's almost like your IQ increases. That's the funny part about it. It's amazing to me, man. When I see people who believed everything coming out of folks like the MSNBC people and CNN or the Democrats, once they come out of that, it's almost like they become smarter. They become more their reasoning skills kick in. Their deductive reasoning kicks in. You're starting to go, wait a minute, that don't make sense. Oh, you know what? It's crazy. But until they get snapped out of that trance, he's right. They are low IQ viewers and voters. But guys, look at this investigation right here. This was undercover. I don't know how they were able to pull this off, y'all. And I'm mad that I did not see this earlier. But some undercover investigation took place where they recorded the Zoomtown meetings of these folks prior to creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe installed into office. And they were preparing a real coup if Joe lost. Let's check this out because I'm sure Christopher Wray is all on this. This is deep, y'all.
I'm a management and programs analyst. I work in the national security community. I spent 3.5 years as a contractor at DHS HQ.
If you read the mainstream press, like they all have Signal accounts, text them, leak everything you can.
I think making sure that we're naming what is happening as a coup.
As a coup?
Totally agreed. In the shutdown BC conversations that I've been having, and that's not on the federal side, we also are often saying, call it a coup.
Do we have any plans for how to respond if there's a coup?
On the 5th, we're going to shut down the White House.
Map the White House and know every access
Shut down the White House.
So we know we can blockade it.
On the 6th, we're going to shut down larger parts of Washington, D.C.
We've been working on a target map and a framework for scenario. So where are all the police stations? Where are all the key government buildings? Who are the Trump boosters?
Members of Congress that are coming in, we're going to meet them at the airports or at Union Station and send them back to where they came from until we deal with the situation that we're in.
We are going to be in a crisis, but we want it to be one that we are creating. Whoever's got the guns can win. Let's take over the buildings. If there are people that are willing to do that, we should support them. Get ready to shut your city down on the 4th or the 5th.
Regardless of who wins, the left plans to take over.
Wow. So that's just a warm up. So let me get this straight. All those folks on that chat, they were talking about taking over on January 6th or whatever. On the 4th or the 5th, whatever happens, we're planned and how we can seize the White House. All of that. Now, where is the video chat of the Proud Boys? Anybody? How about the Oath Keepers? Where's their plot? Where is their undercover video that includes, y'all about to find out if you've never seen this video, includes a whole bunch of government workers. Now, they tell us the deep state's not real. You're about to hear these folks making confessions about their job position in the government and their activism as well, subverting the will of the president and all of that stuff. So now, is y'all ready for this? Because this is a combination between radicals out on the streets, the ground level, and the government. Unbelievable. And they're talking about the Proud Boys and all of that stuff.
Our undercover inside the Sunrise Movement was able to obtain exclusive video footage inside Zoom chats where Shutdown DC, BLM, and other leftist organizations are coordinating a multi-level coup action exercise utilizing insider help from Democrat Party members.
That's what an abolitionist world looks like.
Why is AOC in that bubble? Why is she in that box like the Brady Bunch opening? See, the bubble one is in the bubble. So I don't get that, y'all. Because remember, guys, this was before January 6th took place. Nobody infiltrated these organizations. Nobody got wind that all of this was going down and these people were planning all of this crap. Unbelievable. They're still talking about how J6 was orchestrated by the Proud Boys and coordinated with Trump and all this stuff. Where's this evidence? Why aren't they showing all of us doing that? Did y'all get y'all memo that we're going to be in a chat talking about the insurrection? But listen to these folks.
As well as federal employees and intelligence contractors.
Wow.
Let's talk about what actions and decisions are in your immediate sphere of influence as somebody who works in the government.
Making sure that we're naming what is happening as a coup
in different language.
Excuse me, where is Poodle on top of the head? Jamie Raskin. There's your coup. Making sure we're naming and labeling things that are happening as a coup. Where are all of these screaming folks on TV talking about coup, insurrection, all of this stuff? Why aren't these people in jail? Why aren't these people being investigated? Why didn't they bust down these people's doors? They got these folks. You're going to find out this video was sent to the feds. They got this video. They knew these people were involved in this. And some of these people, like I said, is government employees.
And communications with coworkers will be really important.
Totally agreed in the shutdown DC conversations that
Shut down DC.
That's not on the federal side. We also are often saying, like, call it a coup. It's a coup. Don't let anyone tell you it's not.
The video you're about to see should concern every American, regardless of whatever their political affiliation
I gotta
is.
get deep.
What we've uncovered here has been vetted by high-level analysts and seasoned journalists. Given the nature and sensitivity of this information, we have already sent it off to government officials and law enforcement authorities so that they can be ready and prepared for whatever happens next.
So then they raided them? That's what you telling me, lady? Because remember, guys, this was before J6. See, this was before J6. Some reason, though, the FBI didn't get no tips, I guess. They couldn't stop. They don't know. Why aren't these people being investigated? Why aren't they on the, extremist watch list? Why aren't they being labeled as insurrectionists and potential domestic terrorists? Because what you're about to find out, these folks are organized. These folks got resources to do some stuff that on the surface, you just think, oh, wow, that's interesting. And these people just showed up and start protesting. How do they know where all these politicians are going to be? How do they know the schedules and addresses and all of this stuff of all these people? Who's giving it to them? But somebody is. And I think we found out.
Disruption. If you're on this call, you might be inclined to like that working group. Disruption is all about the smaller actions that can make up our movement. So they're about connecting people to affinity groups and then thinking through how do we take action to actually disrupt business as usual.
Disruption. Now, that looks familiar. Antifa. Black Lives Matter. Disruption. Seattle. Disruption. That's one of the strategies. Create chaos.
Inside the Sunrise Movement and other radical organizations was able to give us recordings of Zoom chat meetings involving Shutdown DC.
So somebody infiltrated them, y'all. Boy, I tell you, man, it's so funny, man. I'm sitting there saying, you guys are so corrupt and evil, but yet arrogant to think that everybody that's on this big fat chat is loyal enough to hear y'all talking about all of this disruption and infiltration and cooing and ain't gonna say nothing. So that goes to show the arrogance of liberals, man. In this plan, you would think they'd meet somewhere out in the forest, have everybody checked and scanned for a bug or something, but no, they're gonna do it on Zoom, y'all.
So-called peaceful protesters and outside agitators, including members of the Democrat Party, federal employees, and government contractors, are coordinating street actions with intergovernmental involvement. Black Lives Matter, Shutdown DC, the Sunrise Movement, Antifa factions, and many, many more are involved.
So they were out rehearsing. They were planning for whatever took place after January 6th, if the things didn't go their way. They were rehearsing how to disrupt stuff, how to agitate people. They were walking through it like it was a football game prior to the day of playing. All right, let's get some walkthroughs, guys. Now remember, the key words is white nationalists, xenophobe, homophobe, fascist. Don't forget to get up in their face real close. Hopefully you'll get punched in your face. Unbelievable.
They call themselves affinity groups, and they coordinate their compartmentalized actions together. In one meeting, they are discussing and training for high-risk actions.
I really want to hear from Shut It Down DC about this. Do we have any plans for how to respond if there's a coup?
Kiki Green, the co-founder of Black Lives Matter DMV DC, and a trainer with momentum. In this Zoom chat, the leadership from several far-left organizations can be seen talking about their plans.
We have been in discussion for a couple months about how to respond to different contested election scenarios. First step is that we think that we need to start the the post-election phase in the streets.
Start the post-election phase in the streets. Where are the Democrats saying these people are election deniers? All of that stuff. This is an underground group of folks who are sitting here meeting and talking about post-election response. This ain't organic. They're trying to make us think that, all of this protest and stuff is organic. These people are strategic, man. Watch what they talk about doing if they lose.
What's that?
Yeah, we need you to stop talking now.
Patrick Young is one of the main organizers for Shutdown DC, who participated in training sessions for the Sunrise Movement, where they, as the Wide Awakes, plan to protest outside Lindsey Graham's house.
Oh!
We are going to Senator Lindsey Graham's house at 6 a.m. We'll be there from 6 to 8 with Sunrise DC.
Good morning, Lindsey
I don't like Lindsey Graham at all. However, you can't do that. I mean, so they're going to show up at the senator's house yelling with a bullhorn, all coordinated. Now, this is, once again, dumb criminals. They done leaked all of this right here, and it gets exposed. So guess what happens?
Reported about this planned event prior to it happening by obtaining a recording of their training session.
Oh, training session.
Our information was able to get law enforcement on the scene to keep the agitators from vandalizing and breaking into the senator's home.
So they went ahead, submitted this video that was leaked or given to them to law enforcement, and they made sure that they were there to prevent these people from getting out of hand. Because we know what liberals do. They'll get out of hand. They don't have a governor. They'll be up there throwing stuff at your crib, doing things like that. Out of control. What else happened? What else they up to?
I heard someone in the chat talking about revolution time.
Revolutions?
And so I encourage, for all of us to be fighting for revolution before today, tomorrow, afterwards.
In another meeting, they are scheduling their plan of action between election night and inauguration.
So we're inviting people to come to BLM Plaza anytime after 4 p.m. on election night. And we're going to watch what's going on together.
They reveal a massive and ambitious plan of taking over the White House, Washington, D.C. in general, and shutting down Congress.
What? Why didn't I hear about this? Why wasn't this all on CNN and MSNBC? If this woman got hold to this Zoom chat, and yet these people were not arrested, they were planning to shut down the White House after the election. Now, are they on the FBI's most wanted list? Are they labeled as one of the most extremist groups known to the United States? Listen to what they actually came out and said they were going to do.
On the 5th, we're going to shut down the White House.
So let's say we want to shut down the White House and make sure nobody goes in and out, right? We would need to have mapped the White House and know every access point so we knew we could blockade it. But then we would need more people to support that. So we might say Black Lives Matter Plaza and the African American Museum on the Mall Constitution are 2 public assembly sites, so we can quickly move large numbers into zones of protection.
Very detailed. Did it look that organized on J6 when people were walking through the Capitol and stuff like that? See, this is my question. When it comes down to these folks right here and their strategy right here, these folks are having meetings about doing this, and these are the things that you would think, based on what the FBI and the DOJ is saying, you would think the Proud Boys was doing this, the Oath Keepers. You would think all of these conservatives were doing this. You would think we're that dangerous. I don't get these Zoom call meetings. I don't have access to databases and floor plans and stuff like that. See, so this isn't something we wake up and think about, because guess what? Folks on the right don't go around protesting for no reason. I mean, it got to be something serious for us to come out. These folks are radical, and watch as you listen to some of the people in this Zoom chat. All of them are weird. Watch the women and the men. They're all weird.
Potential conflict. So we're talking about what would it take to surround the White House and have people do stuff. Wow. We can divide it up easily with affinity groups.
On the 6th, we're going to shut down larger parts of Washington, D.C. Congress is planning on coming to town and passing laws again and having business as usual. And we're saying if we're in a coup, there's no time for business as usual.
Is there a scenario?
If we're in a coup, there's no time of business as usual. That sounds like an insurrection. That sounds like a coup. But yet, we're the most dangerous threat to the homeland.
Scenario that might play out that would cause us to all go and shut down an airport.
Members of Congress, they're
Did y'all hear this on video? That will cause us to go and shut down an airport. Have we ever done one of those? Has conservatives ever done that? Have we ever been laid out in the middle of a freeway? These are the useful idiots that Yuri talked about in his video when he warned us of these are the useful idiots right here.
coming in. We're going to meet them at the airports or at Union Station and send them back to where they came from until we deal with the situation that we're in.
We're going to see
Send them back.
potential fighting all over the country or in some hot spots.
Violence.
Right, we've already seen that. And so how do we work together across the country to help support each other no matter where we are and to maximize our impact by doing similar things on similar days at similar time?
Wow, such organization right there. You see the old witch right there? So now she's talking about there's going to be violence. There's going to be violence. So do you get up in the morning and think, oh, there's going to be violence? Part of my job, part of my activism is going somewhere and anticipating violence to take place.
We have to be willing to put our bodies on the line and take on some discomfort, sacrifice, risk in order to change things. So again, chaos is a soup by which change emerges. Let's get cooking.
Chaos is how change gets done. Let's get cooking. So now let's hear what they're cooking up.
The coup, we should be clear. Like, it's got to go. Trump's got to go. In order
Trump's
to
got to go. The lady's talking about a coup. Trump's got to go. But yet we just heard them all talk about we're election deniers and all of that stuff. And his people are. These folks are sitting in there planning saying Trump got to go. If he win, he got to go. We're gonna launch a coup. Why aren't these people in jail?
achieve what they did. They knew they had to take over important government buildings. I think we don't have a lot of experience taking over government buildings.
Oh.
And we might need to think about that. And I know, as I said earlier.
You mean like them accusing us of taking over the Capitol? We need to think about that. We don't have enough experience of taking over government buildings. We need to think about that. And they've been doing it and getting away with it. They've been doing it all over the place and getting away with it. But yet when it happened at the Capitol, biggest investigation ever.
Earlier, how, we may find ourselves in the streets with people with different tactics than ours. But there may be some people that are willing to break the windows to get into the government buildings. If that's what we need to do, then we shouldn't fight about that. Let's do that. Let's take over the buildings.
Let's take over the buildings. Radical leftism. Now, these people right here are on video just like Ray Epps. Just like Ray Epps are in the Capitol, but yet the FBI is not breaking down doors and snatching these people up and labeling them as the most biggest threat to the homeland. As they talk about taking over the White House, launching a coup, making sure Trump is removed, all of that. What else they up to?
Boris got fighting, and then knowing that if some of the other folks emerge that are going to fight back, that we need to stay out of their way. We might need to figure out in advance how to build some agreements. And if there are people that are willing to put their body between the white militia and a bunch of people that are mobilized, I want to do nothing other than support them.
The white militia. See, they really think they're crusaders. They think they're freedom fighters. Oh, we're talking about between the white militia and the freedom fighters. What the heck are you talking about, Dodo? White militia. White folks are only patriotic people. And if it ever gets to the point where there is a militia, it's going to be comprised of conservatives versus liberals. That's what it's going to be comprised of. And these folks are not equipped to really deal with that type of confrontation. But she thinks she is.
At their back, you can always stick, right? So this is like disabling vehicles. Taking action against property, especially property that's designed to hurt us.
Yo, this, I can't believe this hasn't been streamed on every dang on news station. We might have to disable vehicles, paint them, especially property, take over property that's specially designed to hurt us. What property jumps up and slaps you in the face? What property is this dodo bird talking about? Property that's designed to hurt us. Unreal.
Is violence. I think it's smart sometimes. I think spray painting cameras that are security cameras trying to track us could be smart. And I don't.
Wow. These folks up here really planning the real coup. Spray painting cameras that's designed to track us. That's smart. Taking over property, vandalizing cars. All the things they try to say we're responsible.
I would say this because I think that any one of wants to go out and get killed. I don't want to get killed. Nobody wants to get killed.
Yeah. And so part of what we learn is like, if you're escalating and I escalate, we're going to go like this.
Lisa Fithian is a National Steering Committee member of United for Peace and Justice, a coalition of over 1,000 local and national groups, and member of the national team of Extinction Rebellion.
Extinction Rebellion. She's out there speaking to a big audience of young college kids that they have been prepping to do this stupidity. They're using even younger, useful, dumb idiots for their crusade, making nothing but a whole bunch of stupid protesters, whining, radical activists.
I'm someone that has had to sort of rethink my own orientation to nonviolence over the years. Because when we enter a moment where we are now, where you have armed militia that have shot and killed people, that are threatening to arm up. More guns have been sold in this country in the past period than Lord knows how many. Where people.
What armed militia is she talking about that done shot and killed people? What is she talking about? This right here is all in her head, or either she's trying to put that idea in somebody else's head.
Who use their cars to drive into people. When I think about what we may face, I say to myself, we are way out of our league. And I've been in conversations where people have never thought about having a gun, or like, should I have a gun? And I'm going to talk a little bit in a few minutes about what do we do when guns are in the mix.
Lisa Fithian is described by Mother Jones as the nation's best known protest consultant.
Protest consultant. I didn't even know that was a job. I mean, where can I go sign up to be a protester consultant? Basically a provocateur. That's what you are. That's what you are. You're an agitator. So you're a useful idiot to the left. That's all you are. And she's about to even explain that. Yeah, we're down with the Democrats.
And that when we say we're going to go do something, like we're going to shut that down, we are setting in motion a chain of reaction where the state then begins to embolden itself and shut itself down. Again, that's what we saw in Seattle as well. We have
you hear that? Yeah. See, what that sounded like is what they're trying to say that the J6 people did. They tried to go ahead and shut things down, and then that's what they do. These are the people that the brainchild of all of the stuff they're accusing us of. These are the people who puts this stuff into action, and they're probably the people who infiltrates our protests and do things like what she's describing.
Understand that we are trying to get them to do certain things, and whether we shut it down or they shut it down, it doesn't matter as long as it's shut down. There's another website that we're looking at that maps critical infrastructure. So again, I think to myself, if we're in a coup situation and we're under attack and under fire, how do we, in the safest way possible, start chipping away at the systems and infrastructure they need to maintain power? You know, some of the stuff that...
Wow. This is crazy, man. Did you understand the confession that these people are making ignorantly as they think they're talking amongst just their friends, but talking about how to strategically go after infrastructure? Did the Proud Boys plan stuff like that? We're the Oath Keepers. I don't understand. Where's the militia? Do they sit back and do that? So now this woman's talking about going after key things that make them stay in power and infrastructure and all of that. What else?
Shut down DC is doing, some of the ways we're thinking about this that could be replicated in cities across the country. We've been working on a target map and a framework for scenarios.
And we used software called ArcGIS.
Software.
If you have a university affiliation or somebody in your group does, you can probably get this for free. Otherwise, you can get it for not very much.
What does do?
But what's cool about this is we're able to pull in other public data sets. So in the purple, we have all the military properties in DC. And then the nice folks from the District of Columbia city government have made available transportation infrastructure maps and also
transportation infrastructure maps. Do you understand? This is like war tactics right here. These people are preemptively preparing to disrupt our society. They got software. They're figuring out where the dang on military bases are, the police stations. That right there doesn't sound like us over there sitting back talking about, we're mad we lost an election. Let's go and let our voices peacefully be heard. This sounds like a structured group of people who have resources and access to all kind of either technology or people in the government that knows that they're doing this, and they allow them to operate like this. So now they're talking about police stations and military maps. Sounds like war.
things.
So we began to put together a list of things we want to know about in the city. So where are all the police stations? Because it's good to know where the police are. Where are all the police buildings? Where are all the media outlets? Who are the Trump boosters?
Who are the Trump
We
boosters?
may decide we need to talk with Trump.
What? So we know it's a left-wing group right there. Who are the Trump boosters? Where are the police at? We need to know all of that stuff. Why? Why would you need to know that? What are you up to, lady? That right there sounds like these people were planning a coup. And they're constantly even talking about it. Yeah, it's like, well, if we're in a coup situation.
Trump boosters. So where are they? Lisa and some other folks came up with a great list of the folks that we might want to go have conversations with, and we have them in categories.
The list of names they are referring to is very interesting. Wow. There is a website that caught attention having names and home addresses of donors from both parties and independents.
What? Let's say there's a narrow Trump victory. We might have to pivot, and at that point, we might need to say, we need to target the Democrats and make sure Biden does not concede. Or
that sounds like election interference. If Trump wins, we'll target the Democrats and harass them, okay, and make them force Biden not to concede. The same thing that Jamie Raskin and all of them on CNN is talking about. We don't want Trump to concede, and Trump didn't want to concede. He thought he would. These folks are talking about that. They're saying basically we don't want to accept the results of the election, and we will not concede, and we'll force Biden not to concede. Now, isn't that crazy? But yet they're trying to prosecute Trump for an insurrection. These little insurrectionists right here are the real ones, but their cribs aren't being invaded. It's people like the Catholic guy and his family where the FBI is busting down their stuff.
Or maybe it's a narrow Biden victory. And Trump is not conceding. Maybe it's targeting Republicans and telling them it's time to get him to go, right?
Oh, y'all hear that? So strategic. Now, if Trump wins, then what we going to do is, Biden wins, rather. We should say if Biden wins, then they'll target Trump Democrats, Republicans, rather, and target them to force them to make Trump concede. Now, what kind of crap is this, man? These are supposed to be regular humans and citizens that they just vote and they just accept the election results, right? That's what they're supposed to be. That's what they want us to be, right? But no, not these people. They're up here with a list and a strategy of how to not concede or force Trump to concede.
So we're thinking through the different scenarios and what might be the appropriate targets and then actions based on that so that people can start organizing and getting ahead of it.
They even have a tactical map provided by Esri, which is used by NASA, NGA, USGS, FEMA, etc. With that information integrated into their interactive tactical map, they would have a common operations perspective for command and control of information and kinetic actions, aka a war.
We're facing an administration and a potential coup and a potential insurrection where efforts to criminalize this are going to be even greater.
A potential insurrection. These are high-tech folks right here. They're not just, we're going to go down there and we're going to protest, and if things get out of hand, we handle it. These folks are masterminds sitting in some basement or making these calls, and they're actually planning on how to strategically shut down places, shut down the White House, all that. Now, you imagine that these were all conservatives and this was leaked. They're always talking about we're the biggest threat to the homeland, but they never show any of this stuff. They never show any, videos of us doing crazy shutdown stuff and violence and all that. They never show that stuff. They just tell people that, conservatives are the greatest threat to the homeland. But this woman right here and her whole crew, they're diabolical.
Understanding that everything that we're doing now in this moment is laying the groundwork for what is going to come. Is there going to be a war? Are people going to get killed? Is that on anybody else's mind? I'm guessing it is.
They have amassed relevant data from the DC Metropolitan Police Department, the DC Hospital Association, Fire and Emergency Medical Services.
Wow. When we zoom a little bit closer, we can take a look at, here's a version of it where we're seeing live traffic here and then where there are road closures.
Live traffic.
Geographic information, transportation, traffic, and infrastructure.
All of that.
Spatial data systems, etc.
And then
This don't sound like just no regular protesters, guys. This don't sound like, hey, guys, we're just going to go down and let our voices peacefully be heard. These people are sitting back going, we want to know where the street lights are. We want to know where the traffic is. We want to know where all of that stuff is. Because we're not just protesters. Unreal.
And if we go even further in, we've got super high resolution. This is once again a courtesy of the District of Columbia, super high resolution, better than on Google Maps,
Better than on Google
aerial
Maps.
photography of Washington, D.C.
We showed this map to experts in military information operations and counterterrorism, and they were very concerned that this group had this map.
We may decide that we want to go talk to the media. So where are they?
We might have to take over a TV station, right? Maybe we're taking over the local TV station and getting airtime to put out a call for people to come join us. I know that sounds crazy. I've always wanted to do it though.
Yeah, you want to do it because you are crazy. Y'all see this? Now, this is the stuff that puts it in perspective of what they're doing to Trump. When you have organizations like this woman sitting here talking about taking over a TV station and then had another come out, well, yeah, you know what? I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but I've always wanted to do it because you are crazy. You sit back and say it sounds crazy, but then you say, but I want to do it. Now, these aren't regular protesters, guys. These are insurrectionists. These folks are talking about a coup. They got maps. They got infrastructure plans.
So we're talking about what would it take to surround the White House and have people do stuff. We can divide it up easily with affinity groups. I want to encourage people to think about who's got the power in your community, map the power, map the opportunities, then look at it strategically and begin thinking about who you would want to engage based on the scenario that's happening. So for us, that might mean looking at blocking the bridges and main thoroughfares coming into the city, kind of shut the city down.
Are these people preparing for a war?
Right now, a bunch of the folks that I work with, we're ordering gas masks.
Gas masks?
I know people that are buying Kevlar vests. Again, we didn't cause the war. We didn't ask for this war. Many of us are here because we want to fight it. We want something different.
Y'all hear that? Now, this is the delusional part. They think they're at war. And I'm looking around going, who are you fighting? We're not at war with you. What are you talking about? We're focused on the leaders of the country who's abusing their power. You guys are talking about your war, just like they imagine that the transgender community is being genocided by all these. I'm saying you're delusional. You're about to get yourself hurt going to pick a fight that nobody is even fighting. We're going, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all so angry? Why are y'all so mad? They do this for a living. These folks put hours and time into doing this kind of crap. And yet I don't hear nothing about this group. I don't see no FBI raids. These people are talking about shutting businesses and buildings down, how they can shut the White House down. You imagine if you get caught saying that. Any of these people accountable? I mean, nobody? It's unreal.
I have been in situations with live ammunition in more than one time. What are we willing to do, right? Because again, we're not dealing with people with just simple guns. We're dealing with people with AR, AK-47s, multiple rounds, a lot of shootings. So, yeah, we are going to be in a crisis, but we want it to be one that we are creating. We want to make sure that we are on the offense and not the defense. What? We want them to be responding to us and us not responding to them.
This radical organization, Shutdown DC, hosts a workshop for federal employees use official capacity to participate in their coup action plan.
So now y'all ready for the kipper, the final part? So now they're bringing in federal employees. Now, this is amazing. First of all, I know our Republicans are doing a great job right now, but did they get this video? I mean, this is one of them videos where you show Christopher Wray while he's up there, or Garlic, and you say, look at these federal employees right here on this video talking about a coup, talking about leaking, talking about undermining our government, our transition when it comes down to the power. Look at these federal employees. Are they being, prosecuted? Are they under investigation? What about the organization that's coordinating with them? See, this is the stuff you bring up and you slap their face with it when they come out talking about conservatives, or should I say extremism, radical far-right extremism as the greatest threat to the homeland. Show them this.
I've been a federal employee in a couple of different services for about 28 years, and I work in the national security community.
My name is Laura Adams, and I'm a member of Democracy Kitchen, one of the groups that's putting this workshop together. I worked for about 4 years for USAID.
Laura Adams is currently Senior Director for Strategy, Development, and Learning at Freedom House in Washington, D.C. and worked for USAID for almost 3 years in the Human Rights and Governance DRG sector in the formulation of USAID strategies,
Now she's a radical.
programs, and training.
Yes, thank you, Laura and Maria. That was really
who's
excellent.
this?
Thank
Who's
you so
this?
much for that presentation. I have to say, as an attorney in the federal government, I am finding the chat suggestions very interesting, and I just do want to remind people that we lose our status as federal employees if we strike.
As an attorney for the federal government.
Sarah Starrett is currently a federal attorney for the U.S. Department of Labor and has been for nearly 13 years.
What does it look like in practical terms to put,
Here's another
to slow the gears down in some ways or another?
At the Department of Labor, it takes the form of several rounds of the cost-benefit analysis for a new regulation. And
The Department of Labor. She's I guess, a lawyer. Listen to what she is saying, how they use their activism inside the government. They're using all of these tactics on their job.
When people were cheating on the numbers, a copy of that draft got leaked to the Data Labor Report, and it got published, and it got sent to a congressperson. And the Office of Inspector General opened an investigation on who was cheating on the numbers. So again, that's sort of a combination of tactics. It's making a really good paper trail. It's making sure that document got out to someone who could make use of it, and then Congress getting the Office of Inspector General involved. It was really a way to stop that thing just in its tracks, and it worked really well.
Worked really well. See how they work behind the scenes, all these activists in these agencies. That's why if Trump wins, got a clean house, man. These folks right here, these holdovers, these people that's nestled in all throughout the government that is undermining everything. Wait until you hear some of these other stuff.
Federal employee myself, really happy to bring this here. We will be dropping links in the chat for the federal guide that you can refer to for more information after this workshop
Confess
is over.
it all.
And please do share that widely.
That makes this medium incredibly subversive. Nadine Block, who worked with the Direct Action Network and Ruckus Society, partners with affinity groups associated with Momentum, the organization behind Black Lives Matter and the Sunrise Movement.
But whether or not you do a misdemeanor or an infraction on federal property or on public property really doesn't affect most of the jobs that you would be considered for.
Unless you're a Trump supporter. See, yeah, she's talking about on government property. If it's just a misdemeanor, it really don't affect you. And it's unless you're a Trump supporter that happened to walk into the Capitol that day. Then you're in jail for like 2 years. See, but here she is telling us that, the radical left, if they are on property, it's just a misdemeanor. You're good.
Just as a sideline note.
As an attorney, I think we're highly, that's one of the things we have to be careful about.
My name is Laura. I am also a federal contractor rather than a federal employee. I spent 3.5 years as a contractor at DHS HQ.
My name is Maddie Salzman. I'm a management and programs analyst in a federal agency.
Madeline Salzman has been a project manager at the U.S. Department of Energy for more than 5 years.
We're in roles of power. We set and enforce rules. We hold people accountable to social norms.
Y'all hear this? She works for, this is unbelievable. She said, we hold people accountable for social norms. What is that? Is that your job? You're an activist. You're working in an organization and you're sitting there implementing activist tactics, talking about we're holding people accountable for social norms. What's that? Who defines that? Who is this lady? She's not even elected.
I have worked in the U.S. government. I worked in the State Department for over 5 years.
Maria J. Steffen
Listen to this one.
worked at the Department of Defense Bureau of Conflict and Stabilization Operations and at NATO headquarters.
And I'm currently now on a leave of absence from my job to focus on our domestic democracy and peace building work. So I'm going to be bringing to bear perspectives both as an academic and as someone who has served.
Now, all of these women look like they either hate men, you know, I mean, they all just look weird. They look like they're just either man haters or extreme feminists or whatever. And then comes the guys, y'all.
Served as a public servant in U.S. government.
Co-author of Why Civil Resistance Works, part of Columbia University's studies in terrorism and irregular warfare. She was also doing what appears to be military information support operations for Kiev Post, a publication everyone thinks is a CIA newspaper.
Now she in the
during
chat.
the U.S.-backed uprising in Ukraine. She is also a former senior fellow for the Atlantic Council. As an expert on Ukraine and the logic of civil resistance.
Rallies, marches, methods of non-cooperation.
Look at her. Her pantsuit, her short haircut, wide legs, rallies, marches. That woman right there looks like she would chop off every testicle in the room. That's what she looks like.
Anyone here is an expert on irregular warfare and mobilizing resistance movements. Stefan is.
Really, it's about how you all as federal workers can be the penultimate public servants at a time when our country needs you the most. President Harry S. Truman famously said, "I thought I was the president, but when it comes to these bureaucrats, I can't do a damn thing." There are definitely a lot of different go slow tactics. And I think, you know, this is also an area where, you know, folks on the outside, so private citizens, those in groups on the outside, being able to show solidarity with federal workers and you know, civil servants is particularly important during this moment.
Y'all hear this woman encouraging these radical groups that go in and disrupt and protest and all of that stuff to merge with these federal employees so they can all work together implementing their radical agenda. This woman right here worked within our government and she's had a very high ranking. And now here she is encouraging these people to become activists and merge with the outside activists.
Democracy is a really powerful pillar. And, you know, federal workers have unparalleled familiarity with the bureaucratic process. They know how to speed things up. They know how to slow them down. They have access to critical information about policies that are being considered and implemented. They can participate in internal decision making. They can provide or deny knowledge and expertise that those at the top of the bureaucratic totem pole need.
So what she's saying is all of these folks that works in different agencies all across the government that are activists, when people above you give you an order or ask something of you, you can slow walk it. You can act like you don't know. You can act like you're just sorry because you ain't going to get fired. You're a government employee. You can scratch your head and go, wow, you know what, I'll look into it, but I couldn't find anything on it. Basically, you can launch your own insurrection within the government. So when they're trying to go after Trump for an insurrection to occur and still be sustainable, you have to have the resources to implement it and operate after it takes place. These people are the real insurrectionists. These people, now you're about to hear them say they're involved with the Democrats. So now, not only are they all playing it in the government and on the streets, then you got the Democrats involved in this. And now they're doing stuff like what we're seeing to Trump and we're seeing to us. All of that leaking and crap is coming out of people just like this.
And another act of commission, albeit highly, risky, and there are a number of great downsides, is leaking. So leaking information about pending or actual policies with journalists, with activists, influential people on the outside. But this, really should be used very judiciously, only on truly significant matters, because most disclosures outside of formal internal whistleblowing are at minimum a violation of contractual duty. And they may put leakers at significant legal risk.
Where's Christopher Wray, ladies and gentlemen? Where's the DOJ? Did they not see this video footage? It's funny how they never get their hands on stuff like this, but they're talking about insurrectionists and all that stuff. I'm not even going to finish this. It's a couple more minutes. It's like 6 minutes left. But we'll pick up on that. Just to give you just a taste, we ain't even got to the guy who's about to come up, who is currently working in the government, who literally is going to be talking about how he could stop the transition of power and all this stuff. Literally talking about this, man. This is unbelievable. And this video, gotta understand, was over 2 years old. This video was out when they were talking about the insurrection at the Capitol and the peaceful transferring of power and all of these radical right, far right people. This video was out. And we still hear these government agencies come out and try to say that extremism, right-wing extremism, is the greatest threat to the homeland. Did they watch this? If they didn't, send it to them. Because I am. Now, God bless y'all for tonight. We'll pick up on this probably maybe tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow is, Thursday. In the meanwhile, make sure y'all hit that like button. I'm going to make sure I save it right where we're at. So I don't, let me see something here. I'm sick of this mess. These people and all of their corruption. So anyway, looks like my thing jammed up. Interesting. All right. So God bless y'all. The number I gave y'all the number. Don't forget, hit the like button, share my videos, all of that stuff. We'll pick up on this tomorrow, either Friday at the latest. And follow me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of this stuff. My other channel. Subscribe to the other channel. Make sure you also call that 1-877 number so that you can be a part of the text message chain. And what else? Did I forget anything? If you want to continue to, all those who gave me the super chat, thank you so much. And those that want to contribute to my channel outside of that, links are below. Cash App, Zelle, and PayPal. And I think I got everything. Podcasts. All of these get converted into podcasts. So you're welcome to find this on the podcast of your choice and check it out. Other than that, man, let's get out of here.
Connecting with civic groups and organizations on the outside and having Franken on this conversation.
Yeah, let me stop it right here so I know exactly where we were, y'all. Yeah. And we'll deal with this. Look at this guy. Look at that guy right there. You can't see him, but yeah, he looks weird. He looks weird because he is. All right, now let's get ready to bounce, y'all. We'll see y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. Where's my music? My theme music on the way out. I ain't scared. Yeah. Take care. See y'all tomorrow.